Popcorn World.
Popcorn World. Yeah. Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in the back of a can. You can make it round the world when the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. The Popcorn World.
You're now listening to the Brothers of the Five. At shooting guard, it's your boy, Killer Cam. At small forward, it's Reggie Love. At point guard, C Major. At power forward, Al B. And at center, Mr. Noise, Lloyd Spence. And now, the Brothers of the Five.
Add one more plus me and
that's the end of that intro, because we'll have a new intro starting Monday. Or next Wednesday. We'll have a new intro in September. But I liked it. I liked it for what it's been. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's been good.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
the same, but the intro will be different. You know what I'm saying? So I'm Lloyd. That's Chad. We up in here.
What's going on? What's going on?
Rest of the brothers, they on their way. We'll see them when they get here. But we got to keep the train moving tonight. This is our college football preview show. So college football has already started, technically. But this is still considered week 1. So we about to give y'all our predictions for the entire year. I hope y'all ready. We're going to do it 5 style. I hope y'all ready. Chad, first of all, how you feeling, brother? Are you good?
A little under the weather, but I'll make it.
A little under the weather, but hopefully this show will pick you up tonight. Lift your spirit.
It's going to be like the Jordan flu game.
You listen, sometimes you got to play hurt, Chad. Sometimes you got to play hurt, right? All right, so let's jump right in, man. We ain't gonna waste no time. Question number 1, we out the gate right now. The biggest story of 2023 has been college football realignment. We can't even get to real college football conversation because college football realignment has dominated the conversation. Even today, they asked the college football playoff committee, the director, I think Jack Schwarbick, met with with some people talking about college football realignment. He said we can't even start to talk about realignment until we fix this ACC problem, which we'll get into tomorrow on Believe in the ACC, 8:00 tomorrow. So my question to you is this. Can the ACC, who's struggling to figure out their situation, and the Pac-12, who's on life support, I don't even know if they're on life support no more. They might just be, they're on life support, but it's like, you know how somebody's, I don't want to sound morbid, but you know how somebody's on life support, but they really, the only thing keeping them alive is the machine. That's the Pac-12 right now. So, but here's the interesting part about it. Technically, as a conference, they still exist. And they have teams that have a legitimate shot to win the national championship this year. USC, Oregon State, Oregon, Utah. They got some legitimate contenders. Same thing with the ACC, Clemson, Florida State. some sneaky sleepers in maybe Louisville or whatever. My question to you is, bro, could a national championship possibly save the conference?
Well, national championship, I don't think so. I think it's about money. It's all about money. But the Pac-12 has some really good teams in there. Like you're saying, they have I think top 4 ranked teams.
Right.
And so I think that why don't they come together? I would see, ACC, Pac-12 sometime, some type of conjoining. I think that would make a conference a superpower conference, because you say we got the Florida States and the Louisvilles and the Oregons and different things like that. I would like to see them come together and try to make a conference.
Technically, there's only 4 Pac-12 teams left. Technically, the only teams that don't have a conference assignment for 2024 are California, Stanford. I think who is the other 3? There's Oregon State. I don't think they have an assignment yet. And
Washington State.
Maybe Washington State. I think those are the 4. So that's it. I mean, they don't have no other teams.
Yeah,
so,
if they could come together, because they have names, the schools have names, and they definitely have recruiting powerhouses over there. So they would have to get some type of deal done.
Do they have names?
Stanford's not a name. Stanford is
yeah, but Stanford is a name. Let's be clear. Stanford is a name. I agree with you. It's
Cal name. I mean,
Stanford and Cal are the only 2 teams the ACC is really considering actually right now. Stanford, Cal, and SMU actually, which is amazing that SMU is in the conversation. But those 3 schools are the ones that the ACC is considering, and they would have already voted on it, but obviously the shooting went down on Monday. So our condolences and thoughts are with UNC Chapel over that craziness over there. But here's what I'm gonna say. For the ACC, it would be awesome if they could win a national championship in addition to everything else, because that gives them the credibility of Power 5 that they need to continue forward. Now, obviously, because their money situation is bad. It's so bad. So they need that credibility. I think it would be great to have that credibility if they could get it. Now, I think the Pac-12 is a Rapsy-Scapsy. It's over. There's no, it wouldn't matter because USC is leaving and they're going to the Big Ten. Yeah. It don't matter. It's over.
Have them join ACC then. Have them join the ACC. Have them join the ACC. The remaining 4 teams. The remaining 4 teams.
But I don't think the ACC wants the remaining 4 teams. They don't want all of them. They just want Stanford and Cal.
Or they can do like Notre Dame and go independent.
The other 2 teams? Yeah, but you gotta have some cachet to do that, and they don't have it. Who wants to see a Washington State game? I don't want to see a Washington State game right now. So I definitely don't want to see it if they're independent.
The Washington State alumni.
Right. But that's the point. They don't have the meat to do it, man. So I think this could work out well through the ACC. But if you're the Pac-12, I think you got to get out. Listen, the house is on fire. Get the women and children out.
Yeah.
Because right now you about to go down. You about to go down with the conference, and that ain't a good look.
Yeah, Pac-12. I mean, for who they have over there and what kind of teams they have, it's just sad that that particular conference is going to be a casualty. So.
Yeah, I hated that the history is pretty much dead at this point with Pac-12, but it is what it is. The money rules, man. It was
the ACC team that could be a national championship mentioned. Could it be only Florida State?
Well, we're going to get in that here in just a second, sir, because guess what's next? Question number 2, who wins the conference? And we're gonna start with the Big 12. We're gonna come back to the ACC, but we're gonna start with the Big 12. You might be shocked by my answer.
Okay.
I think it's Texas.
I'm not shocked. I had them
I
on the
think
radar.
Texas is gonna win it. I know that might be. I know Texas has let us down so many times in the past. They have, and so I get it. And I think a lot of people are thinking that TCU is, they probably have enough pieces coming back. I think Texas is legit. I think they're the real thing. I think Sarkisian has figured some things out, and I think he wants to go into the SEC riding a high.
Yeah.
So in his mind, I got to dominate the Big 12 on the way out the door and send a message to the SEC. So I think Texas is going to win the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too hard to go against you on that. I was looking at Texas, and they got Ewers back, the quarterback Ewers back. So yeah. I think they they have a viable shot to definitely be able to compete at a high level. So
yeah. All right, so we're going with Texas.
Yeah.
What about the Big Ten?
Well,
Well, I know which way you're going.
Well, Big Ten this year or next year?
No, Big Ten right now. Big Ten in real time.
I would have to say I can't go against the grain. I would have to go. They got the Blake Corum coming back, and they have a viable second option in Edwards, and they have some continuity on both sides of the ball. So I would have to say Michigan. I think this is a year. Hopefully they get over the hump, but they have Harbaugh has that imposed 3-game suspension, so they can't let one of those teams sneak up and steal a victory.
Who are the first 3 teams? Because it might not even matter. Let me see. First 3 teams are
I think it's like East Carolina,
UNLV, and I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Harbaugh could essentially take the first 5 games off, and I think they'd be fine.
I don't know. It's just sometimes those teams that you don't expect to win in certain circumstances, they steal a victory. So I'm not going to chance it at all. But I'll go with Michigan.
I love you. You're my little brother. I love you to death with all my heart. I gotta say Ohio State, man. I'm gonna tell you something. I think I have a prediction, and you'll understand why when we get to question 3. Mm-hmm. But I think we're about to see a performance for the ages, like an all-time legendary performance. It just feels like there's a player on Ohio State that if his quarterback does not screw this up, I just think we're about to see something special, something really, really special. So I'm going to Ohio State. I'll get into the reasons here in just a minute on question 3.
Who's throwing them the ball, though?
I know. I'm concerned about that too. I am. But I'm going to tell you something. I think that talent is at a level to where it may not even matter. It may just – I think he is going to be the Mike Evans to that quarterback's Johnny Manziel, if you understand what I'm saying. Because everybody would say, oh, Johnny Manziel's amazing. He's amazing. He wasn't. He wasn't amazing. He just had an incredible receiver named Mike Evans that made him look amazing. And I think we're about to see something similar here. So I'm going with Ohio State, but not by a lot. I'm saying it comes down to Ohio State, Michigan again, and Ohio State squeaks it out. All right. So in what is left in the Pac-12, I'm not going to surprise anybody here tonight. I think Caleb Williams is that good. I just think he's that good. And I'm not talking about what he did this past weekend, because I don't think this past weekend's game matters much. I just think he is that good. See, John is saying Oregon. Let me say something, John. Oregon, fool me once, shame on me.
No.
Fool me once, fool me twice, shame on you for trying. I am not going to be fooled by Oregon again.
I am going to account Caleb Williams' performance, because to have that be the first game, even though we know how great he is, having that be the first game, and you kind of make a statement on your first game. I mean, that was pretty impressive. So I would have to say USC would be my choice as well. I don't really see anybody else that would interest me as far as competing against them in the Pac-12.
I think by the end of the season, it's gonna be this Heisman race is gonna be something special. So I'm going USC. All right. Now we at the ACC. This is what you wanted. You said, is there another team that can compete in the ACC besides Florida State? I think the ACC is going to be very highly competitive. I think Clemson's going to be there. I think North Carolina's going to be there. I'm very tempted solely on the basis of their schedule to say that Louisville's going to be there because their schedule. First of all, a lot of people don't know this, but Louisville pulled to Colorado. And they basically gutted a lot of those players out of there. And they got like 25, 27 kids out of the transfer portal and basically rebuilt the entire team. So I think it's going to be, and the quarterback that they brought in to coach under the new coach, Jeff Brom, he is very familiar with that system because he played for Coach Brom at Purdue. So the learning curve shrunk tremendously. So I think there are going to be several competitors in the ACC. But having said that, I don't know if anybody is going to be as good as Florida State. I think Florida State, and I saw John say Clemson or UNC. I think Florida State is going to – I think they have all of the pieces now to be what Florida State used to be. And Jordan Travis has finally grown up, and I think you're going to see him. That LSU win last year on the road was massive. And I think he took a massive step forward last year, and I think he takes the final step forward this year. I still don't know if he's a first round, second round, or even a third round quarterback yet. I think he may be probably fourth or fifth round. But I think from a college football perspective, he's ready. So I think this is his year to come out and do some amazing things.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you because at Florida State, they definitely are ascending up, and they do have a viable option, to be able to get to the playoffs and the championship. So,
absolutely,
like you said, I think it depends on Jordan Travis' success. I think his success is going to be, a lot of, how they go.
Yeah. And I'll make this prediction to you as well. And I said this last week on Believe in the ACC. I think Clemson is going to be there overall, but I still think they're going to kind of fall back to the pack a little bit. This is going to be an interesting year for them because they bet a lot on Klubnik and I think toward the end of last year, he wasn't as great as people thought. Or that anybody, no, he's a freshman, so we're gonna stall him out on that part. But I think he wasn't. He took some serious growing pains toward the end of the year, and I think he's not done with those growing pains yet. So I think that on the road on a couple of those games, it could get a little tricky. They have an interesting schedule. It's a little more challenging than you might think that it might be. Matter of fact, this opening game is challenging. Duke might give Clemson everything they can handle because they're not going. Duke's not bad, so it should be interesting. All right, SEC. Until I see proof, otherwise, I'm believing in them Georgia Bulldogs. Until I see proof otherwise.
Yeah, I think Georgia is 1A, but you can never count out Nick Saban. So I think Alabama would be 1B. So, but like I said, Georgia until further notice.
Who are you really going with though? Like for real?
I mean, Georgia. If I had to
go say, come on now.
But you can never count out a Nick Saban team.
You can't count them out, but I just think Georgia is set up to be a powerhouse.
Factory.
Man, it's crazy how good they are right now. Okay. We have a bonus one. Because they're independent. Does Notre Dame finish in the top 6 in that playoff? You know, it's 4 playoff teams, and then there's always 2 that are kind of hovering around them. Is Notre Dame going to finish in that top 6? Let me tell you something. John is saying, yeah. John, I love you, man. I'm gonna say this to you. I've been watching Sam Hartman for 4 years. And I know a lot of people are screaming his name after them 4 touchdowns last week. But ladies and gentlemen, those 4 touchdowns was against Navy. Navy should have disbanded that football program a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
I do not believe. I am not buying it at all. So no, in my opinion, they will not finish at the top 6.
Yeah, I mean, that team is going to go how he goes. So if he has a good game, they're going to look good. If they have a bad game, they're going to look terrible. So I don't know how long he can keep that up based off the level of competition that they play. So, I mean, it looked good the first game, but we'll see.
To me, he looked like the Sam Hartman I've always known. He always looks good against lesser competition. But boy, when you put him in against the real ones, totally different situation. So I think he's going to be what he's always been. I think at this point in his football career, I think it's impossible for him to be anything else. So there you go.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Question number 3. Who are your Heisman favorites and sleepers? You want to go first?
Sure.
Jump on in there, brother.
I mean, it's really 2 people. Really, I think it's really
Okay, you saying 2. Who you saying?
I think it's Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay, so who you going with?
But my sleeper, I mean, that's tough. That's tough. If you say Marvin Harris is going to have the year you think he is, I probably have to go with him.
As your
I have to
sleeper?
go with him.
Okay,
So he's not my sleeper. He's my pick.
he's your favorite. Okay,
He's
all
my
right.
pick. But my sleeper, if everything goes the way this coach, thinks he's going to go, I think it's Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, that's a good sleeper. That is a good sleeper. Let me tell you something. That is a good sleeper. What is John saying? John is saying Drake May, Caleb Close, Bo Nix is sleeper. Not bad at all. I think all of those players are definitely going to be in the mix. Listen, I need everybody to listen to me when I say this. I think we're about to see something special. As special as Devontae Smith was, I need you to think, first of all, I think Devontae Smith, college Devontae Smith was one of the most outstanding receivers I'd ever seen. And Marvin Harrison is better. He's better. He's got the body. He's got the speed. He's got his dad's skills. And he's got a pure football mind. I think if his quarterback can just put the ball in his general area, you're about to see one of the most special performances you have ever witnessed in college football. I think Marvin Harrison is my favorite. I think Caleb's going to be right there. I think Drake's going to be right there. I think you're going to see something special. But I do have a sleeper that's very interesting. And I'm surprised Reggie hadn't showed up yet because he and I talked about it today. If this kid can finally put it together, because he has all of the intangibles, if he can finally put it together the way his talent says he could, Jaden Daniels is going to be in the mix as well. I think KJ Jefferson of Arkansas could be a very interesting moment in time. KJ Jefferson has everything. He's got the size, he's got the quickness, he's got the skill to pass. He's a great passer, but he just has not been able to put all of the pieces together, and they've not been able to put all the pieces together around him. If they can finally put something together and just be competitive this year, KJ Jefferson could be interesting. My last sleeper, I got one more. Travis Hunter's been doing a lot of talking. is Travis Hunter can be something special in some of these more high-profile games. Like if he comes out of his TCU games with 2 picks and a couple of touchdowns or whatever, I might have to change my sleeper pick.
Or Shador, if he comes out with 3 touchdowns or something like that.
Listen, the 2 teams that I'm looking at, and I don't want to get ahead of the show. So you got me getting ahead of the show. Matter of fact, that's the next question. Who are the national championship sleepers? Here we go. We're right there at Colorado. Are they a national championship sleeper?
I don't think so right now. I think they're going to be good, but I don't think that. I mean, for Deion, he needs to be in the conversation.
Why do you think he needs to be? They won 1 game last year.
Just for the validity of the move he made, and as far as
but they won 1 game last year.
Yeah, but I'm saying all these expectations that he brings and everything like that. Yeah, I mean their ceiling is low. Their ceiling, all they have to do is win 2 games. And
I was gonna say, I know what he wants in his heart, but let's be real. You won 1 game last year, and I think the year before they won 1 game. So if you win 3 games, you beat both years totals. So,
and that doesn't make a national championship sleeper, though.
No, it doesn't. So here's what I'm gonna say, and I agree with you. The reason why Colorado and I'm probably and you know, the 2 teams that we got in A and B are basically the same. It's going to be the same answer for both of them. The reason why Colorado and Louisville are so interesting to me is that we've never seen 2 teams do what they're doing. You see, like TCU, they brought in some transfers, and it made a difference. It made a huge difference. Yeah. They got to the playoffs last year. But we've never seen anybody basically gut their entire team. Deion got rid of everybody except for like 9 players.
Yeah.
And he is basically bringing out an entirely new squad and saying, we're going to go for it. I'm just going to say this. The only reason he makes the sleeper list for me is that if he pulls this off, college football will never be the same again. It will never be the same again. You will never, ever see any coaches, especially coaches on hot seats and stuff like that. They're not going to go after these 5 and 4 stars no more. They're going to go right to that transfer portal and build their team for the next year. This is for Louisville and for Colorado. This is a pivotal year, because if they are able to, Chad, if they're able to get 7 wins, 8 wins, that's the game. That's the transfer portal from there is here to stay. You will never not see the transfer portal be active again. It's going to be the thing. So, are they national championship sleepers? I would say Louisville is more so than Colorado, just because Louisville doesn't have the type of schedule that Colorado has. Colorado got some top 25s that they got to play. It's going to be a tough schedule.
Exactly.
I personally have them going 6-6. I think it's going to be right around 500. With Louisville, I just don't know. Because they've revamped everything. Their schedule is, they start the season with 6 very winnable games in Georgia Tech, Murray State, Indiana, Boston College, and North Carolina State. Those are all winnable games. So by the time they meet Notre Dame on October 7th, they could legitimately be 5-0. So
they could beat Notre Dame too.
And they can beat Notre Dame. The toughest games on their schedule are Notre Dame, Duke, and which, by the way, they get them at home, and UK, which they also get at home. So I don't know. The first game is going to tell us everything. What's up, Reggie Love?
What's up? What's up, man?
Hold up, time out.
Saying,
Lord, is something different here? I'm just trying to.
On me?
Yeah, is
Yeah,
your
cut the beard,
beard?
brother.
Yeah, okay, got it,
Cut the
man.
beard, brother. Football season cleaning up. The summer
good.
beard is
Yeah.
over. I'm back to
Yeah.
Sorry. I looked. That's like,
Hey, listen, it's the same thing that Kendrick and Chad and Charlie said last week. They was like, "Yo, something's different about you." Like,
you're right.
cut the beard. I trimmed it
Yeah.
down.
Get you. My bad. I'm sorry, guys.
No, we
No,
on
you
question
good.
4.
Good.
We on question 4,
Good.
and we're talking
Good.
national championship sleepers, and we're talking Colorado and really Louisville because both of those teams did something that we've never seen done before. They went in the transfer portal, kicked out a bunch of players, and brought in a bunch of players. Louisville brought in like 25, 27 players, and Colorado cleaned house. Like they brought in 53 new players, 57, I can't remember the number. But it's like they kept only 9 players from last year. So talk about your unknown. Nobody has any idea what they're going to look like.
Right.
Yeah. But I think in those instances, it's going to take some time for you to gel as a team as far as, bringing all those guys in. And I don't see it right now as them being contenders, maybe in a couple of years. But right now, with all those transactions and moves, I just don't see it right now.
Is it harder, Reggie and Chad, I'll start with you, Reggie, to blend in and make them come together as a team, freshmen who have no experience or transfers who have experience and understand the entire process? Because here's the one thing about transfers. They're not shocked by the regimen.
Right.
So they're not going to come in and have to adjust to that part.
Right.
The only thing they have to do is just learn schemes and system and that kind of stuff. So I hear what you said. Go ahead, Reggie.
No. I agree with you 100% about the transfer coming in because, like you said, they've been there before. Some of these guys, 21, 22 years old. The only part that I would see with Colorado is that they emptied house, but you don't have any existing players that, when you first come in the transfer portal, you have those existing players that know the system, all right, here's where you're supposed to be. Because from what I'm understanding, there's even different coordinators from Jackson State.
Right, it is.
Colorado.
It is.
So to me, it's all brand new. It'll be interesting to see them that third and fourth game. The first and second game, I think it may be tough because you don't have anybody that knows the system. Here's the certain offense, here's a certain defense. Okay, if this happens here, you go here. When you have those existing players that's been a part of the system who can really explain sometimes what the coach really mean or the coach is really trying to say, I think we won't see these true Colorado. I'm just speaking Colorado. I don't know if we'll truly see the system until maybe third game, fourth game.
Well, it's a new system anyway. So
let me say this though. I'm just playing devil's advocate just a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
In 3 of the key positions on both squads, Colorado and Louisville, the transfers know the system. Shedeur is going to know that system. The quarterback for Louisville, he knows that system because he played with Jeff Brom at Purdue. So Travis is going to know the basic philosophies and concepts of defense for Colorado. Now, does that transfer throughout the entire squad? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can't say that. But I'm saying what I said right before you jumped on, Reggie. What makes this interesting is that if it works, listen, if they can pull off 8 games for either one of these squads, college football changes forever.
Right.
Forever. Because now coaches are going to be like, oh, I can go to transfer and just go shopping and get what I need? For real? Why am I out here beating these bushes over 5 stars when I can just get transfers?
And see, we've talked about that before, and this is in every sport. We're not only talking about football, we're talking about basketball, we're talking about baseball, soccer, you name it, hockey, you name it. This portal makes it different.
Very
because
different.
now instead of getting those 5 and 4, like you said, Lord, but then guess what else it does? It pushes the high school players' backs off.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And that's the thing that's scary about it, man, because if my job is on the line, I've said this before,
Yes.
no way I'm going to get a high school 5-star. I don't care how good he is. If I got a chance between that 5-star would have to be one of the greatest, and he'd have to be almost a guaranteed hit for me to go recruit him and bring him in over somebody that I know has proven he can do it and he just needs a new place to play.
I mean, well, just look at San Diego State last year, who made it to the finals game in the NCAA tournament. Look at them.
Yeah, in basketball.
It's the same thing.
And by the way, that's 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and we're gonna see it again. We're gonna see it
2 years in a row. Baylor, now San Diego State.
And we're going to see at least 2 more years. Let's don't forget, we still have that 2020 COVID year class.
Yep.
That you have. Those players are still funneling through. So that'll probably be another, 2 years before that actually funnels out. So, and that accounts for football too. Now we're going to see some 24, 25-year-old seniors. I mean, and you never know. Colorado might have got a few of them. So
I think Colorado is poised to do. They're going to be very. The game Saturday is going to tell us a lot.
Exactly.
It's going to tell us a lot. If they are competitive at all against TCU, like if it's a close game, man, it's going to be an interesting year. I tell you what, guys, for time purposes, let's go ahead and skip to 5. And we got 2 versions of 5 because unfortunately we weren't able to meet last week, but we're gonna meet this week. So we got 5A and 5B. 5A is who wins the whole thing. So we're gonna give you our predictions as to who wins the whole thing. First question: top 6 playoff teams. It's really 4, but they always look at the top 6. So I'll go first. My 6 is real simple. No surprises really. Georgia number 1, Florida State number 2, Ohio State number 3. I think USC is going to take that 4th spot. And then I think Texas and Alabama will hover around that 5th or 6th spot again. Alabama will be on the outside looking in again. But I reserve the right again to put another ACC team in, either Louisville or Clemson, based on how they perform. But I think those are my squads. My top 4: Georgia, Florida State, Ohio State, and USC. I didn't put your boys in.
I got Georgia number 1, Michigan number 2, USC number 3, Florida State, and I got a tie between Ohio State and Texas. I'm not sure which
so you don't have Alabama even in the top 6.
No.
Wow, man! Look how the mighty have fallen. All right,
man. Y'all never bet again. So Nick, come on, guys.
I'm betting.
Come on, man.
I'm putting money down on it.
You know what? I'm no different than what the AP poll is saying. I'm saying Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, and I'm going with USC at that 5th spot. And the question is this LSU Florida State game that's going to happen on Sunday? The winner between that game will get my 6th spot.
Okay. By the way, I just read you real quick. I know you didn't get a chance to. Who's your Heisman front runner and who's your sleeper? Mine was Marvin Harrison Jr. I think we're about to see something special with this kid. And my sleeper, you kind of spoiled it for me when we talked earlier, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. It's KJ Jefferson. I think if he can finally put the pieces together, all of the tools are there for him to do something special this year. Because usually one of the candidates that makes it to the Heisman Trophy is somebody that comes out of nowhere, like Max Duggan, comes out of nowhere and gets some upsets and shocks the world kind of thing. And I don't think anybody is more poised to do upsets and shock the world than KJ Jefferson.
Well,
Except
hey,
for
my leading candidate is the repeat Heisman. That's my so that's my leading candidate.
Okay.
Yeah, so but I'm gonna go with Arkansas too, but I'm gonna go with a different name.
Oh,
And he's starting to get a little traction here. And that's Rocket Sanders. He's already ranked. The ESPN has him in the top 5 in running backs now.
yeah.
So, if I really think that's a sleeper there. If he's poised to maybe get anywhere between the 1,500 and 2,000 yard. I'm gonna say at least a 1,500 yard season.
Well, here's what makes your pick so interesting, because if your pick performs well, then I think my pick automatically gets in.
Well, it depends though. See, here's the thing. If KJ can really improve on his accuracy and stay consistent, and not only just stay consistent in between those numbers.
Yeah.
I actually, you have something special because he's on a lot of watch lists now. So I agree.
He is. He absolutely is. Yeah.
So,
He's gonna be
and he's a senior now, and he's a veteran player in college football.
Yeah. All right, let's go to this one. National championship game. Who's gonna be?
Oh,
Let me go ahead and get mine out.
Go ahead. Well, we know it's Michigan and somebody.
Michigan and Georgia, man. Michigan and Georgia.
Okay.
We're gonna finally crack that code.
This was no mystery, Chad. There's no mystery involved whatsoever. Reggie, who you got?
not so fast, my friend.
Okay.
I will think the game of the year would be Georgia and USC.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's nobody in the Pac-12 could beat USC. And I think they may have I don't think they will let Utah upset them again this year because they're going to be ready, and they're definitely, because he was a first-year coach. I don't think they're going to lose a game in the Pac-12 this year. So that's why I say they're going to walk right into the national championship game.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Shout out to the great Lee Corso, because that's one of the greatest lines of all time.
I know it. I love it.
Not so fast, my friend. I think I'll use it as well. Not so fast, my friend. I think we're all in agreement that Georgia's going to get there.
Right.
Barring an unprecedented collapse.
Right.
I think Georgia's going to get there.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to reiterate. I don't listen. All the quarterback for Ohio State has to do is just put the ball in the general vicinity of Marvin Harrison, and he will be special. I think he's going to break records this year. I think he's going to shock the nation. And I'm going to say something else that's going to really throw everybody off. I hope you're ready.
All right.
I think he's going to lead college football as the preemptive #1 pick in the draft.
Oh, that's not a shock at all.
Well, it is kind of, because it's normally a quarterback or a lineman or whatever. And a receiver doesn't normally go #1 overall. But I think that talent, I think we're looking at somebody that could be a generational talent. And and when I saw him play last year, I said, my God, he reminded me so much of his father. But he's better at this, and he should be, because he has all of his dad. He's bigger, and he's got his daddy's knowledge. It's clear his dad has coached him, because he does everything right. If he ain't getting the ball, it's not because of him.
Right.
It's because somebody ain't reading something right. So I just think
are the Giants tanking?
Huh?
Are the Giants going to tank?
No, we're going after it this year. We ain't doing that. That's next week's show, and I'll be back with you on that. But no, we ain't tanking. No.
Not for a generational talent.
Hey, you don't you need a receiver for your new quarterback?
Generational talents come every year. So
he didn't get what I said, did he?
I don't mind tanking.
I have a lot to say about that next week.
I know. I know. I said new quarterback, right?
I heard you.
I'm gonna leave it at that, and we're gonna hold that for next week.
I love my quarterback. Okay.
No, I'm talking about them Cowboys new quarterback.
Oh, yeah, they definitely need to tank for their quarterback.
We'll get to that next week.
Shout out to Matthew Stafford. Okay. So the national champion, I think we probably all in agreement. I don't think, man, as great as I think my guy is, Marvin, it ain't enough to beat Georgia.
But
Let's
you
be
know, we
Or
got
Caleb.
we got a new quarterback in town in Georgia this year too.
They do, but he would have to be so horrible. I mean, he'd have to be one of the worst of all time to screw this up, because you're not going to be able to score. But first of all he got to do is put up 15 points and they win. So I just don't see the path for anybody to stop that defense. I don't see it.
Yeah. Well, with a new quarterback, you could be vulnerable, even though it's Georgia. You could be vulnerable on the offensive side of the ball. So
Okay, so who you going with?
Georgia.
Okay, all right.
I thought you were gonna say Michigan.
I mean, my head says
You're gonna root for
Georgia.
Michigan.
My heart say, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna root for Michigan. But you're not. But you know, on paper you gotta say
So, speaking of Michigan, when is Harbaugh back? 4 games? He's out 4?
He's out 3 games.
3. But
3, and your coordinator's out a game or 2 too, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
I mean,
I'll
since we're on college football, how do you get in trouble with the NIL this year? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know. That was weird, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to even understand what that whole is. I haven't really, to be honest with you, dove into the depth of how bad it really was.
Right.
But it sounds dumb, and he just, you know, I don't think he really understands the rules of college football anyway. So
yeah, I'd have to tell y'all offline about that situation.
Okay, fair enough. We can't wait to hear it. All right. So we normally start our predictions. We do 5 predictions. And so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Colorado TCU, who you got?
Going with TCU.
I love Prime. That's my guy. I love him. But for his first year, I'm gonna say I'm gonna ride with TCU.
I'll say this: if Prime pulls this off, it will have to go down as one of the greatest upsets in college football, because this is a team that was 1-11.
Right.
And they gutted it. And he pulls off a win against a top 17 team
that just came from the national championship.
That just came from This would be one of the greatest upsets of all time. Having said that, give me TCU. All right. Give me TCU. LSU versus Florida State. I think Florida State's for real, man. I think Florida State's for real. I almost put them in the national championship game, if I'm being honest. I was this close to put them in the national championship game. But I think they're for real.
Well, you're just going to have to prove it to me, LSU.
Okay. All right. I think they will prove it to you this weekend.
Hey,
listen, keep in mind, they beat LSU last year in Baton Rouge.
Right.
Yeah.
I will stand in solidarity with you and Charlie. I'm going with FSU.
All right. This game interests me only that I'm just trying to see what the hell just happened with Louisville. Like when you gut, same thing with Colorado. When you gut a team like that and then bring back all this new stuff, is it live or is it Memorex? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So I'm gonna go with my head and my heart and my head rather, and I'm gonna say Louisville, but I don't know. I honestly do not know. I'm only going with Louisville because I don't think Georgia Tech's gonna be that good.
Yeah,
so
is Georgia Tech still running the triple option? Let me go with Louisville. No.
They are so in love with that. I don't understand that. This is an interesting one as well. Drake May, is this his coming out party for his Heisman candidate? He was great last year.
I just don't have faith in South Carolina right now. I'm still going to ride with North Carolina on this one.
I think I'm going North Carolina as well.
Next,
I don't know how we ended up with so many ACC games this week, by the way. This one is interesting because it's at Duke, and Duke's Riley Leonard is the quarterback, and he's not bad. He was actually really good last year. Duke put up a lot of upsets last year and beat people they wasn't supposed to beat. And they've gotten better.
I feel like Clemson said, you know what? We took a year or 2 off. Let's get back in the mix a little bit. I'm going with Clemson.
You going with Clemson?
Yeah, I'm going with Clemson for obvious reasons that that coach over there needs to have a winning season because the people in Clemson is not going to like him if he keeps losing. So I think Clemson will get this one.
The game is on Monday, I believe. They got the whole stage to themselves. And I believe that on Monday or Tuesday morning, the whole nation will be talking about how Duke stormed the field and after they beat Clemson by 3 points on a field goal. Give me Duke in an upset.
Wow.
And Clemson starts the season behind the 8 ball, trying to figure out what the heck just happened.
Yeah.
You know what?
How about that for bold predictions?
That's Super Bowl. That's Super Bowl right there.
Listen, I come back. Hey, I come back here on next Wednesday, and Duke would have lost that game by 40. But that's our predictions for college football. I don't know if we surprised anybody with some of these, but hopefully we gave you some perspective. You guys got any shout outs? Shout outs tonight. We're back, guys. We're back. We are back. Feels good to be back.
Actually, I do got some shout outs, man. First off, I want to shout out my son, Mason. He had a birthday over the weekend, turned 8. Definitely shout him out. Also, shout out my boy Reggie, who had a birthday recently as well.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? Happy 55th.
That's right.
Hey, can you go back and delete that part? I just need you to go back and
I can delete it. Don't worry about it.
You know, drugs. Hey, drugs is a dangerous thing, brother.
I am on cough syrup. And also, man, I said it a couple weeks ago, man. Congrats to your daughter Paris. You know, the Williams and Love family, man. That's a huge accomplishment. So definitely looking to see how she does in soccer and following her. And also, shout out to the couple, Selena and Derek Smith, on their anniversary, man. So that's all my shout outs for today, brothers. And also shout you guys out, man. Shout you guys out in the Five Nation, and having Reggie back, man. Good to see you guys.
That's what's
I
up.
appreciate that, man.
Also, shout out Kim, man. Shout out Kim, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, they look old. They They're definitely gonna do some testing.
Yeah.
After that game, because it was some old 12-year-olds. Who you shouting out, Reg?
Man, I'm just gonna follow everyone that Chad said, man. I'm piggybacking on all of them, but I definitely got to give a shout out to my baby girl, Paris, man. I'm super proud of her verbal commitment to Northwest Oklahoma State for soccer. Hey, man, I'm so proud of her, man. She worked hard this summer, and she deserves it, man. So definitely a shout out to that, man, and shout out to you guys, man, to be back, to be chatting it up a little bit with you guys. Yeah, running a little bit late. That little one, that 2-year-old said, Dad, come here.
That's right. I ain't mad at her.
Terrible twos, man. Terrible twos.
We ain't mad at her. We ain't even mad at her.
I know it, man. So, but hey, and like I said, shout out to my sidekick Mason, man. I'm about ready to get that. Hey, we gotta start dribbling with the left hand before you learn how to cross over. Remember that at all times, brother.
He knows how to do all that already.
So
you late. Yeah,
happy birthday to him, man.
Thank you.
For me, I echo everything that you guys said. And especially with Mason and Paris and you, Reg, happy birthday, bro. But I want to go back outside in the sports world just for a second or two, because I don't think we were here last week and we didn't get a chance to celebrate Sha'Carri Richardson in what I think is one of the greatest races, 100 meters I've ever seen. Shout out to her for just turning that whole situation around, her whole situation around, and becoming the athlete we all felt like she could be. So shout out to her. And then my last one, man, shout out to the great Simone Biles.
Right.
To go from having, that mental health stuff that she was going through, to winning your 8th world championship. 8 world championships.
Wow.
And by the way, looking like you should give her the gold medal right now. Man, she was dominant in the world championship. So shout out to her. And man, she makes you so proud, man.
Can you give Noah a little credit?
I'm gonna give Noah a shout out because they won the relay.
Not for what he said, but for what he did.
Right. I'm gonna give him some love for winning the relay. I'm gonna give him some love for winning the relay and for the 100 meter. Yeah, I think he won the 100 meter as well. Shout out to Noah Lyles for real. And definitely shout out to USA for winning the Little League World Series. And it was the World Series, like Noah said. It was the world. It wasn't just the United States. It was the world. So there you go. All right, y'all. We love y'all so much. We so glad to be back next week. NFL predictions, and we got some. Now we might have some shockers for you next week for sure. We definitely may have some shockers for you next week. But until then, that is the great Chad Major. That is Reggie Love. We send much love and respect and thoughts and prayers to our brother Cam. And man, we will see y'all on next Wednesday, man. The Five Nation. Peace out.
I will get you 10 when you're plugging in with the there's no mystery. Let's make history with the